Kia ora team. Today what we're going to do is we're just going to work through these practice problems on velocity, okay? So step by step, let's go through them, and hopefully by the end of this thing, you'll feel way more confident with these velocity calculations. Okay, let's do the first one together. The car chase. A police car is chasing a suspect, and the car covers 200 meters in 10 seconds. What is the speed of the police car in meters per second? So the first thing I love to do is I like to highlight the information. So go ahead and highlight the information that's been given. Then what I like to do is I like to annotate the numbers that they've given me. So 200 meters, that's a distance value. 10 seconds, that is a time value. So when we're working at velocity, you would remember from yesterday's lesson or the previous lesson that this is the equation, V equals D over T. So from here, what we have to do is we need to first substitute the information that we've been given in the question into the equation. So D is 200 meters and T is 10 seconds. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to draw a line here to show it's the new step. So V equals distance, which is 200 meters, over time in seconds, which is 10. Finally, we can enter this into our calculator. Some of you may not need a calculator if you're good with your mental maths. And so what we have here is V equals 20. Don't forget units, because 20 can mean anything, but we're looking at velocity, which is in meters per second. So I'm going to write meters per second. Okay, you can also write meters per second like this. Either or is fine. So this is how you neatly show you're working, so that you can look back at this and understand what's going on. Okay? So, next question. Let me grab my highlighter. Feeling like pink this time. The athlete sprint. The athlete runs 100 meters in 12 seconds during a sprint. What was their average velocity in meters per second? So, again, let's go through the same process. V equals D over T. Let's annotate what we have. We've got distance and we've got time here. Now, second step, let's substitute what we have. So we have distance, which is 100 meters, and then we have time, which is 12 seconds. So velocity is 100 divided by 12. And that is 8.33 meters per second. So anytime you see a fraction like this in this line, it essentially means divide by, okay? Next question. Let's grab a different highlighter this time, feeling like orange. The airplane flies 1,000 meters in 40 seconds. What is the average velocity of the plane in meters per second? Okay, by now hopefully you're getting a little bit more comfortable with this. So again, let's write out the equation that we're using. We've got distance and we've got time here. Let's substitute this in. We've got 1,000 meters and 40 seconds. So in 40 seconds, this plane is going, okay, it's traveling 1,000 meters. What is its velocity? All we have to do is 1,000 divided by 40, and that is 25 meters per second. Okay? Right. Now we're on to the next part. This time what we're doing is we're solving for distance, okay? So let's go ahead and read the question and see what we got. the hiking adventure. A hiker walks at a constant speed of 2.5 meters per second. Ooh, what's that value? If it's in meters per second, we know it's velocity that we've been given. So a hiker walks at a constant speed of 2.5 meters per second for 7,200 seconds. That's our time value. How far did the hiker travel? So if it's asking us about how far, it means that we're trying to find the distance, okay? We need to find the distance. So let's go ahead, start with our first step, which is to write the equation v equals d over t. We're not actually solving for velocity this time, we're solving for distance, okay? So here's what we have to do. Substitute everything that we have in. So we've got velocity, which is 2.5. Distance is what we're trying to figure out. And we have time, which is 7,200 seconds. Let's see if you can do the next part. Pause and try it yourself, otherwise follow along with me. So because we want distance all by itself. Currently we see that it's attached to 7,200, okay? So we need to get rid of that 7,200 so we get distance by itself. So currently we've got d and it's being divided by 7,200. So how do we get rid of divide by? Well, the opposite divide is times. So by timesing it by itself, we undo the division, okay? So the opposite of divide by 7,200 is times by 7,200, okay? So that cancels it out from this side. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, we have to do to the other side. Pretend the equal sign is a mirror, okay? So because I've times this side by 7,200, I have to times this side by 7,200, okay? And if I were to rewrite this equation, okay, what we have is distance, I'm writing it back to front a little bit, but it's the same thing, distance equals 7,200 times 2.5, okay? All I have to do now to find out the distance is plug this into my calculator. So let's go ahead and do that. 7,200 times 2.5. That leaves me with 18,000 what? Meters. So the hiker has travelled 18,000 meters, and that's our answer. Let's do another one. A cyclist rides at a speed of 5 meters per second for 900 seconds. How far does the cyclist travel? Okay, let's annotate what we have. We've got velocity, we've got time, but we need to find the distance again. First step is to write the equation, v equals d over t. Substitute what we have. We've got 5 meters per second equals the mystery distance, and we've got 900 seconds, which is our time. How far did the cyclist go? So we need to rearrange this equation to find the distance. So I need to get rid of divide by 900. The opposite of divide by 900 is what? Times by 900. And that cancels it out on this side. What I do to one side of the equal sign, I have to do to the other. So what I'm left with now is d equals 5 times 900. Pop that into the calculator. 5 times 900, we get 4,500 meters. So the cyclist travels 4,500 meters. Okay, next question. Get your highlighter out. A surfer rides a wave at 4 meters per second for 180 seconds. How far did the surfer travel along the wave? Okay, let's annotate. We've got velocity. We've been given time. We need to figure out the distance. So let's go ahead and do that. First step, you know it, V equals D over T. Time to substitute what we have. So go ahead and do that. See if you could do it without me. We've got 4 meters per second. Distance is a mystery. Time is 180. We want D all by itself. We want to make it the star of the show. So we need to get rid of divide by 180. What is the opposite of divide by 180? Times by 180. If I do that to one side of the equal sign, I have to do it to the other. And now what I'm left with is D equals 180 times 4. Time to plug that into my calculator. 180 times 4 equals 720 meters. Beautiful work so far. Next question. So this is the third section of the worksheet, okay? And so here's what we've got. The jogger runs at 3 meters per second for a distance of 1,500 meters. How long did it take for the jogger to complete the run? So what do we have and what do we not have? So right over here, what do we have? What would you annotate it as? Velocity. We have a distance, okay, tells us we have a distance of 1,500 meters. What we don't have is time. It's asking us how long did it take. So first things first, write down our formula. V equals D over T. Substitute what we have. We've got velocity, which is 3. We've got distance, which is 1,500, over T, which is a mystery. So we need to work out what T is this time. What are we going to do? Well, let me show you the long way and then feel free to use my little shortcut, okay? But I'd love to see the working out. So to get rid of divide by T, can you see how 1,500 is currently being divided by T? So to get rid of the T value on this side, the opposite of divide by T is times by T, so that cancels it out. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So now what we're left with is T times 3 equals 1,500. I'm going to move my working along, okay? So let me rewrite that over here. T times 3 equals 1,500. So we are one step closer to getting T all by itself, but currently it's attached to times by 3. So how do we get rid of times by 3? What is the opposite of it? The opposite of times by 3 is divide by 3. So I have to divide this whole side by 3 to cancel it out. What I do to one side of the equal sign, I have to do to the other. So now what I'm left with is T equals 1,500 divided by 3. So plugging that into your calculator, we have T equals 500 seconds. Okie dokie. Let's do another one of these. Okay, Before I move on though, what I want you to know is whenever the bottom part of the fraction is unknown, okay, what you can do as a shortcut is swap it with the variable on this side of the equal sign. And that's essentially what we did, but we did it in a long way, okay? I would love for you to know how to do it the long way before you use this shortcut, so I know that you understand the process, okay? So the next question, let's go back to green. A racing car travels at a speed of 25 meters per second. If the car covers a distance of 2,000 meters, how long does it take? Let's go ahead and annotate. We've got a velocity. What else do we have? We've got a distance, and we need to figure out what the time is. So let's go ahead. First things first, V equals D over T. Substitute. 25, which is the velocity, equals the distance, which is 2,000, over T, which is the mystery. I need T all by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and move it to this side of the equal sign. The opposite of divide by T, because it's currently being divided by, is times by T. So I'm going to times the side by T to cancel it out. Then, because I've times it on T on one side, I have to times it by T on the other side. So now what I'm left with is T times 25 equals 2,000. Currently, I want T all by itself, but it's attached to times 25. To get rid of times 25, I need to cancel it out. So the opposite of times 25 is divide by 25, and that cancels it out on this side. I have to do the same to the other side, and so now what I'm left with is T equals 2,000 divided by 25. Okay, so what is the answer? T equals 2,000 divided by 25, and that is 80 seconds. So the racing car, okay, for it to go 2,000 meters, aka 2 kilometers, at the speed of 25 meters per second, it took 80 seconds. Okay, so it's important to show you're working nice and neatly. All right, so it's easy to mark. Okay, the spaceship. A spaceship travels at a speed of 50,000 meters per second. How long does it take to travel a distance of, oh my gosh, this is a huge value over here, 500 million meters. That's a lot, okay? So let's see how long it takes. First things first, let's annotate. We've got a velocity. We need to figure out the time, and the distance is given to us. So let's go ahead. V equals, I might write it here, V equals D over T. Let's substitute. So the velocity is 50,000 over here equals the distance, which is 500 million. My goodness gracious, that's a big number. Anyways, that's how far it's going, over the time, which is the mystery. Okay, so we want time all by itself, we're going to move it. So to get rid of divide by time, we need a times by time, and that cancels it out on this side. That means we have to do the same on the other side. So what we have now is T times 50,000 thousand equals 500 million. We want t all by itself. It's currently being times by 50,000. So to get rid of times 50,000, we need to do the opposite of times 50,000, which is divide by 50,000. That means we have to do the same to the other side. And now what we have here is t equals, let's pop this into our calculator, 500,000. Just got to check if I have the right number of zeros. Yep, divided by 50,000. And that is 10,000 seconds. Feel free to convert the seconds into minutes or hours if you want to understand how much of time that actually is, okay? You'll just have to times it by 60 to get minutes and then 60 again to get hours. So feel free to try that out. But that's the end of our velocity problems. You've done all the ways you can rearrange for different things, and I hope that made sense. Okay, your task now is to try some more questions to really nail this and show that you understand this. All right, team, hope you enjoyed. Ask me any questions if you need.